Hello students, in this session I am going to start new chapter that is S block elements, in which we will study about the group 1 and group 2, because we know that group 1 and group 2 is collectively known as the S block elements. Before starting the S block elements, a very short or small topic of heavy water of the hydrogen chapter is left. So at first we will complete this particular heavy water topic. After that we will start the S block elements. So let's at first we'll discuss about the heavy water. So what is heavy water? Heavy water is the isotopes of water. Heavy water, it is the, as we know, it is the isotopes, melting point and boiling point, bond strength, all things are higher than normal water, so that reactivity obviously lesser than the normal water. So like water, it is also represented like this. Instead of H, D is written. It is called the deuterium. Deuterium. D stands for deuterium. We know that it is the isotopes of hydrogen, not water. Isotopes of hydrogen. Isotopes of hydrogen. So only differ in physical property. Only differ in physical property. Differ in physical property, like melting point and melting point, boiling point, and bond strength. All the things are higher than normal water, higher than water, and reactivity lesser than normal water, and reactivity lesser than normal water. So at first we'll study about the preparation of heavy water. So by exhaustive electrolysis of, it is prepared by exhaustive electrolysis of water. As we know, in normal water there is a traces of heavy water also. So electrolysis, as water dissociate H and OH, and similarly it is also dissociate like D plus and OD ion. So let's we discuss the electrolysis process, how electrolysis done in case of in the preparation of heavy water. So students, when water is electrolyzed repeatedly, when water is electrolyzed repeatedly several times, then heavy water is obtained. So as we discuss, the heavy water is present in normal water in the form of traces. So exhaustive electrolysis of normal water takes place. In that way, at last the heavy water is obtained. At first we see what happens at cathode, because we know that in a electrolytic cell there is a two electrodes, one negative electrode, one positive electrode. So at cathode we see here H plus take electrons and form half H2 gas. Similarly, D plus aqueous, H plus also in condition aqueous, and it takes electron and get formation of deuterium gas. So we know that H plus ion, due to lower mass, because at cathode possibility of these two species to get reduced first, but hydrogen get reduced first because due to lower mass and size and small size, then the deuterium mobility of H ion is high, and therefore reduction of H ion will occur, and D ion, in deuterium ion, will remain in water, remain in solution, not water, remain in solution. At anode, OH ion, aqueous, get converted into oxygen gas and water with liquid form, and 4 electrons releases. So balance this equation. So in particular, during the electrolysis, D ion and OD ions remain in the solution. It is the due to D2O. Around or approx 29,000 liter water electrolyzed than 1 liter of heavy water obtained. Liter of heavy water is obtained. Let's discuss about the properties of heavy water. So at first their physical and then after their chemical property. So physical property of heavy water, higher than the normal water. So physical and chemical properties of heavy water. So almost all physical constant of heavy water are higher than normal water. For example, H2O, the boiling point of H2O, as we know is 100 degrees Celsius, but in case of D2O, the boiling point is 101.4 degree Celsius. It is the boiling point of heavy water. Likewise, if we talk about the melting point of normal water is 0 degree Celsius, and in case of heavy water the 2.3 degree Celsius their melting point. So the physical constant is higher than the normal water, and like water it is a colorless, tasteless and mobile liquid. Let's we talk about the chemical properties of the heavy water. In fact, we compare the chemical property of heavy water with normal water. So, in this side H2O and in this side D2O. Let's we compare the reaction between heavy water and normal water in case of chemical properties. So, sodium oxide when treated with water, we know that formation of sodium hydroxide takes place. Similarly, sodium oxide when react with D2O, the formation of 2NaOD. Next one, with calcium carbide treated with water, so formation of calcium hydroxide and one important compound acetylene formed. In case of heavy water, calcium carbide when treated with D2O, formation of CaOD like this, whole square plus C2D2. Next one is with aluminum nitride, nitrides of metal when treated with water, formation of aluminum hydroxide and formation of ammonia takes place. In case of heavy water, aluminum nitride treated with D2O, so formation of aluminum OD whole thrice plus ND3. So, and electrolysis of water, we know that in case of electrolysis of water, like 2H2O when decompose H2 gas and O2 gas form. H2 form at cathode and O2 form at anode. In case of electrolysis of heavy water, electrolysis of heavy water, so D2O when electrolyzed, the formation of D2 gas and oxygen gas. Like hydrogen, D2 is also formed at cathode and O2 formed at anode. So this is the chemical property which is similar to the normal water. Only the differ in physical property we observe, only the differ in physical property. If we talk about the uses of heavy water, so write down the uses also. Sometime uses is also important for examination point of view. Short notes of heavy water in which uses is also required. So what is most common? It is used in nuclear reactor as a moderator, as it decrease the speed of neutrons. And the next one also as a tracer as a tracer, compound in tracer compound in organic compound, as a tracer compound in organic compound. This is more about the heavy water, and about the fuel cell you will go through the NCERT book, that is fuel cell is enough for NCERT, given in NCERT. Let's we talk about our next topic, that is the S block elements. So let's we talk about the S block elements. As we know, the group 1 and group 2 is collectively known as S block elements. So the elements of group 1 and group 2, group 1 and group 2 are collectively known as S block elements. S block elements. Let's see the similarity or dissimilarity by comparing the group 1 with group 2. The first member of group 1 is lithium, not the hydrogen. We know that about the hydrogen has anomalous property. So whenever we talk about the group 1 or alkali metal group, so first member always be called the lithium, not the hydrogen. So lithium is the first member of group 1, then sodium, then potassium, then rubidium, then cesium and francium. In the group 1, the first member is beryllium, then magnesium, then calcium, then strontium, then barium and the radium. So francium and radium are the radioactive elements. Radioactive elements, radioactive in nature. So whenever we discuss the different properties of group 1 and group 2, we will not discuss about the francium and radium because their nature is different from this particular group. So we will not talk about the francium and radium. So we will talk about the lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium in group 1 and beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium in group 2. And the common name of group 1 member, we know that it is known as alkali metal group, and these are known as alkaline earth metal group because their oxides and hydroxides are found in the earth crust. So this is naturally alkaline in nature, and this is called the alkali because we know that water soluble bases are known as alkali. So let's first discuss the property of S block elements. Properties of S block elements. At first we talk about the electronic configuration of group 1 S block elements. The configuration is NS1 to 2. General electronic configuration of this particular group is NS1 to 2. So this is alkali metal group, and there is a alkaline earth metal group. The electronic configuration of alkali metal is NS1, and alkaline earth metal is general configuration of alkaline earth metal is NS2. The second periods, the member is lithium, the configuration is 2s1. Third period, sodium 3s1. Fourth period, potassium, rubidium and cesium. So this is fifth period and belongs to sixth period. The configuration of fourth period of potassium is 4s1, 5s1 and 6s1. Similarly, we talk about the beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium. The second period, beryllium is present in second period. So the configuration is 2s2, magnesium 3s2, calcium 4s2, strontium 5s2 and barium 6s2. Because beryllium belongs to second period, third period magnesium, fourth period calcium, it is the period, and fifth period strontium and sixth period barium. So on the basis of electronic configuration, we see that this configuration is half filled, and this configuration is full filled. S orbital is full filled. So after electronic configuration, we will talk about the next topic, that is called the atomic size. Our next topic is atomic size. We know that in periodic table chapter, we have already read in periodic table chapter, size increases on moving down the group. Size moving down the group means from top to bottom in particular group. So alkali metal, in case of alkali metal, the lithium, then sodium, so size of atom increases when we move top to bottom. The size of sodium is greater than lithium, potassium is greater than sodium, rubidium is also greater than potassium, cesium is greater than rubidium. In case of alkaline earth metal, alkali metal size is greater than alkaline earth metals. For same period, if we talk about the third period, then sodium and magnesium, the size of sodium is greater than magnesium. Second period, lithium, beryllium, size of lithium is greater than beryllium. So in this way we compare the atomic size of the S block elements, group 1 and group 2. The size of group 1 member is greater than the size of group 2 members. Let's we talk about the ionization enthalpy in the next video. So